Some 11 years ago, FC Bayern completed the treble with their triumph in the DFB Cup final. It was an amazing end to what has become to be an historic season and a fantastic source of closure from losing two finals between 2010 and 2012. In today's video, we'll look at how they did it and where they all are today. Fueled by the heartbreak of the previous year, Bayern embarked on what would become their most successful campaign. This golden generation, featuring stars like Bastian Schweinsteiger and Philipp Lahm, finally achieved the pinnacle, claiming the Champions League trophy and, ultimately, the treble. Preseason training in Trentino laid the foundation for the historic journey. The squad, led by coach Jupp Heynckes, showed fierce determination from the first practice. Under Heynckes' watchful eye, Arjen Robben delivered precise corner kicks, and the players showed intense focus. It was already obvious in pre-season that the Bavarians very quickly intended to make up for the previous year. The defeat in the 2012 Champions League final was all the motivation the team needed. Strong-willed and fully focused, they got down to business. We felt this huge urge to be absolutely the best team in Europe. That was already apparent in the first training session of the new season. Schweinsteiger recalled in an interview with the club magazine 51. In the Bundesliga, Bayern asserted dominance. With a 3-0 opening victory at Greuther Fürth, they took first place and never relinquished it, finishing with a record 91 points, well ahead of Borussia Dortmund with 66. Bayern delighted fans with fast, attacking play balanced by a rock-solid defense, achieving an unmatched plus 80 goal difference with a 98-18 scoring ratio. But the Reds didn't just impress domestically. After winning their group, which included Valencia, Bate Borisov, and Lille, Bayern overcame Arsenal 3-1 and 2-0, and Juventus 2-0, 2-0 in the first knockout stages of the Champions League. There followed an impressive performance against Barcelona in the semi-finals. In the first leg at home, the Munich side played what was perhaps their best game of the season, beating the Catalans, led by superstar Lionel Messi, 4-0. They went on to book their place in the final with an equally strong performance and a thrilling 3-0 away win in the second leg. At Wembley Stadium, Bayern faced off against domestic rivals Borussia Dortmund in a tense final. Though Dortmund pressed early, Bayern took control, with Mario Mandzukic breaking the deadlock in the 60th minute. Dortmund equalized shortly after with an Ilkay Gundogan penalty, yet Bayern's confidence never wavered. "I woke up that day thinking, today, we're going to lift the cup," Schweinsteiger said. However, it took until the 89th minute before Arjen Robben knocked the ball at an estimated 3 kilometers per hour, according to Schweinsteiger, into the net for a 2-1 victory and redeemed the Bavarians. After losing two finals in 2010 and 2012, the job was finally done at the third attempt, and the trophy went to Munich. Bayern were the kings of Europe, and a week later, they even went one better. 1 week later, Bayern completed their treble, defeating VfB Stuttgart 3-2 in the DFB Cup final, becoming the first German club to win all three major titles in a single season. They were widely recognized as Europe's best, reinforcing this by winning the UEFA Super Cup in August. In December, Bayern clinched the Club World Cup, making it 5 titles in 2013, the most successful year in their 120-year history. But how did they do it? FC Bayern's triumphant 2012-13 season saw them field a well-structured 4-2-3-1 formation. Head coach Jupp Heynckes preferred a solid back four, built on the speed and physical strength of center-backs Jerome Boateng and Dante, with David Alaba and Philipp Lahm anchoring the flanks. The midfield pivot was comprised of Bastian Schweinsteiger and Javi Martinez, adding stability and control, while Bayern's front four showcased fluidity and pace with Arjen Robben, Franck Ribéry, Toni Kroos, and Mario Mandzukic. However, due to injuries to Robben and Kroos, Thomas Müller frequently filled in, playing both centrally and out wide. Heynckes' Bayern combined intelligent defense with smart spatial awareness. The backline often pushed up the pitch, with Manuel Neuer acting as a sweeper keeper, collecting loose balls and initiating build-up play. Bayern center backs followed a man-marking system rather than a zonal setup, even if this occasionally left them exposed. Key to Bayern's defense was cutting off passing lanes through zonal shielding. The players positioned themselves to create cover shadows and used a counter press, a tactic borrowed from Louis van Gaal's emphasis on possession. Influenced by Jurgen Klopp's success at Borussia Dortmund, Heynckes incorporated high pressing and urged his team to regain possession high up the field. In particular, Heynckes instructed the fullbacks to maintain advanced positions when possession was lost, cutting off passing options and narrowing the field to increase Bayern's chances of regaining the ball. This allowed Bayern not only to counter-press effectively, but also gain a numerical advantage when winning the ball back. This press was typically initiated by Mario Mandzukic. At the time, pressing the goalkeeper wasn't a common thing like it is today, due to the fact that most goalkeepers of that time period were not sweeper keepers like they are today, so would often be less comfortable on the ball and would be susceptible to making errors by a forced long ball. Mandzukic would make an angled run, so the ball is forced wide to the fullbacks. This would shift the shape of the team towards the ball-sided area. From there, the wingers could then jump on the fullbacks with the pivot shielding off the center of the pitch, and Bayern's fullbacks following the ball-sided winger who looked to offer himself as a passing option. Bayern followed the general principle of making the pitch as big as possible when attacking, and as small as possible when defending by tilting to one side of the pitch. This was a fluid side. With Mandzukic leading the attack, they could interchange positions without any problems, as both Müller and Mandzukic were tactically smart enough to occupy left open positions to maintain the balance of the structure and had the quality needed to make the right decisions when playing those positions. This was evidence of Bielsa's philosophy that players should be able to play in any position they find themselves in. This Bayern side was a nightmare for the opposition to mark. On the ball, Neuer would push up just behind the back line and offer himself up for a pass. Both Dante and Boateng were superb on the ball and would tend to look for Mandzukic, who was a genuine target man, who could hold the play from there for the team to push up high and build an attack from there. But when Mandzukic was marked out of the game, both Lahm and Alaba would open up a passing option and receive the ball, who then could look to thread the ball down the flanks or find either one of the pivot players. Often Javi Martinez would drop into the back line to create a numerical advantage when pressed by a two-man pairing, but because Bayern could evade a press so easily, this forced teams to often not engage in a high press, as that could leave fewer men to defend behind the initial press. This Bayern side were notorious for playing through the center. The idea behind this was to force the opposition to move inside and defend narrow, allowing the dangerous talents of Robben and Ribéry to free up in the places they preferred to receive the ball in and look to do damage. Kroos could often facilitate this, who at the time was playing as a number 10, could drop alongside the pivot players to form a three-man midfield and help progress the ball. His dropping movement often meant Robben and Ribéry could then move into the central zones with the ball to have a strike at goal. They could also look to win the 1v1 duels on the flanks to create scoring opportunities for Bayern. Even though Bayern seized possession in the league, their approach changed when playing in Europe. Bayern would often look to play more direct and rely upon the trio up front to do most of the damage by having a quick counter-attacking style of play. With more emphasis on the defensive aspects of their game, Bayern were not afraid to give possession up in favor of shutting the opposition down. By dictating the space and the use of space on the pitch, and by zonally shielding and counter-pressing, Jupp Heynckes created a side that could suffocate the opposition in their own half and dominate the game. In the end, they created history by winning the treble, breaking many records along the way. If you want to stay constantly up to date on anything football related, please hit the subscribe and like button. So, where are they today? Manuel Neuer remains Bayern Munich's #1 goalkeeper and captain, though he's faced some injury challenges in recent years. He's still considered one of the world's best goalkeepers, despite being in the latter stages of his career. The defensive core took different paths. Jerome Boateng moved to Lyon in 2021, after a decade at Bayern, though he's currently a free agent. Dante has been at Nice since 2016, serving as their captain. David Alaba made a high-profile move to Real Madrid in 2021, where he's become a key player. Philipp Lahm retired in 2017 at Bayern, ending his career as one of football's most respected fullbacks. In midfield, Bastian Schweinsteiger had spells at Manchester United and Chicago Fire before retiring in 2019. He's now occasionally seen as a football pundit. Javi Martinez left Bayern in 2021 for Qatar's Al Qahtani, followed by a move to Australia with Western Sydney Wanderers. The attacking quartet took various paths. Arjen Robben retired at his boyhood club Groningen in 2021 after leaving Bayern in 2019. Franck Ribéry retired in 2022 after spells with Fiorentina and Salernitana. Toni Kroos, who left Bayern for Real Madrid in 2014, continues to excel in Spain, having won multiple Champions League titles. Thomas Müller remains at Bayern, still contributing significantly as one of football's most intelligent players. Mario Mandzukic retired in 2021 after stints with Atletico Madrid, Juventus, AC Milan, and Al Duhal. From the bench, Xherdan Shaqiri is playing in MLS with Chicago Fire, while Mario Gomez retired in 2020 after playing for various clubs. Daniel Van Buiten retired in 2014, and Claudio Pizarro hung up his boots in 2020 after returning to Werder Bremen. The mastermind behind the treble, Jupp Heynckes, retired from management after returning to Bayern for a brief spell in 2017-18. He is regarded as one of German football's greatest coaches. The squad's success led to various paths, but many of these players became icons of the game. Several continued their careers at top clubs, while others moved to different leagues or retired. The core group that stayed at Bayern, Neuer and Müller, continued to dominate German football, though the club has struggled to replicate the same European success of 2013. Several players transitioned into media roles or football administration, with Lahm notably serving as tournament director for Euro 2024 in Germany. Others have moved into coaching or youth development, though most of the key players from this era are either still playing or have only recently retired. Overall, the 2012-13 treble-winning Bayern team was a clear sign of how a team can blend together and win something amazing, even overachieve. Their treble-winning season run, while not as powerful a run as Manchester United's or Barcelona's, is immeasurably greater than Manchester City's. The recent struggles of FC Bayern Munich is only a sign of how impossible their 2013 success was. If you enjoyed this video, do share it with a friend, and then check out our next video about Neymar's latest injuries. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.